Hey, have you ever wondered if the gun can drop legendaries? No? Well, too bad, you're about to find out. So yeah, I was playing in Borderlands 3 a little bit. Obviously, I've gotten to the point where you get the gun, but I couldn't help but wonder, what is the point of this thing? It seems to, whenever I used it in the past, not really drop too much interesting stuff. Am I not using it enough? Does it even have the potential to drop something like a legendary? I mean, what really is the point of using 10 eridium if it's just going to drop random stuff? So yeah, I figured I would set out on a path to discover whether or not this thing can actually drop legendaries, and it came down to a pretty simple experiment of spending 2,000 eridium on it to see what exactly would happen. That is right, pretty much all of the eridium I have gathered over the course of my playthrough so far, I'm going to waste it on this gun to try and figure out if it can actually spawn legendaries. Should be fun. Also, I get into some random stuff with it, but if you're spending 2,000 eridium, you gotta have a little bit of fun with it. So yeah, feel free to leave a like for me wasting all of my eridium. I appreciate it. But yeah, getting into it here, I recorded this last night at around like 4:30 a.m. I could not sleep. This question was bugging me, so I loaded up the game. As you can see, I've got my gun right there ready to go, or more specifically the eridium fabricator, which is a boring name compared to gun. I mean, come on. And also I've got my 2,000 eridium ready to go. So I set out, went to the grave ward area, and found this nice little spot to set up a ton of loot, and then just got to work. 10 eridium each shot, just started to fire out as many guns as I could possibly get, and it quickly started to add up fast. Now, something interesting I noticed while I was actually doing this is that when you're repeatedly using this over and over again, as you guys know, when you first charge it up, it takes like maybe a second or two to actually charge up. But if you keep spamming it like after that, you can actually fire it a lot faster. It like bypasses that little warm up and lets you, waste your eridium even faster, which is a really good quality of life little feature that they added there. I like that. When I'm wasting eridium, I want to do it fast. Don't want to have time to rethink, why am I doing this? Anyways, as you can see, I started out by creating a nice little line across the bridge, and you can see that for the most part there are a lot of greens. No legendary quite yet. There's a few blues here and there, also a few purples, but overall nothing too crazy. And as you can see, getting closer, yeah, there's a lot of green there. I mean, if you want green items for some odd reason, I mean, go ahead. This is a good way to get them. But, I mean, if you're like most people and don't use greens like at all anymore, probably not the best thing, especially since you get this towards, end game. Why would you need that many greens? But you can see I got a few purples, nothing too insane. So, you know what? Back to work, wasting even more of my eridium to fire out even more items. Kept it going here, back and forth, over and over again, questioning why I'm doing this in the first place and not spending my eridium on things that are actually useful. Normal type of stuff. And then I figured out something a little bit more interesting, or something a little bit disappointing. You'll notice that once you get to a certain point of items, it actually starts to despawn the lower ranked items. You can see in the back here that it got rid of all of the green ones, and you can still see all of the blue and purples, but all of the greens that were there are, again, they're gone for some reason. And I mean, like, come on, Borderlands, I was gonna pick those up. I was gonna use them. I mean, probably not, but I'd like to have the option to. So yeah, at that point, I was starting to wonder, well, this is gonna get a little bit odd. It's not going to be as cool if I just keep firing these and the greens just keep disappearing. It's not going to look as nice. It's not going to look as pretty and glowing. I don't know. So at that point, I decided to just start, firing weapons at my feet. Not sure why. I figured, it would get more dense and you'd see more glowing stuff. I don't even remember anymore. It was late last night, okay? Don't judge me. But yeah, it looks a little bit weird. You're just staring at the ground. Guns are popping up every which way. A lot of greens, a lot of blues as I can see. Is there even a purple in there? There's a few purples as I start to back up. There's a few sitting in there. Honestly, not that many, but I will say it looks pretty cool right there, seeing all of those items just everywhere. But yeah, you're looking through there, you can't even find a specific item if you try to. It's just a complete mess of random loot that, you'll never really sift through. So yeah, at this point I was at 1,000 wasted eridium on this little experiment. I figured if I'm going to use the rest of this eridium, I might as well start doing something useful for it, using it in an interesting way. We're still going to see if there's any legendaries that can spawn. So far, no luck, but we got to do something more interesting than just firing them at the ground, right? Like, how about firing them off the edge of the map? Yeah, that seems a little bit more interesting. You can watch them like fall down and stuff like that. I don't know. Still though, no legendary spawning right there, so that's disappointing. At least it looks kind of cool with them falling through the air and then disappearing. But I still want a legendary. That's the goal of all of this. Also something to take note of. If you remember, I said that the greens start to disappear. Well, you can see that even more of them started to disappear. So now it's just this space with a bunch of blues and purples sitting everywhere. Nothing useful, really. Nothing better than the legendary items I have. So, I mean, again, what's the point of this item in the first place? You get it so late game. that you're probably going to have legendaries that are better than anything you can get, unless it still has the chance to spawn a legendary. So we need to keep looking, keep trying in the name of science. And speaking of which, in the name of science, I decided to try to defeat the Grave Ward with the gun. That went quite well. He seemed to like it. I mean, it didn't do much to his health, or really anything at all, but, you know, maybe if I can befriend him with some nice green items, a couple of blues and purples here and there, maybe he'll stop trying to, you know, just utterly annihilate me for some reason. Didn't seem to work, though. I don't know. Maybe the items were tickling him or something like that, but even then, fighting the Grave Ward, no legendaries spawn. I mean, what's with that? Either way, though, at this point, I was kind of done with this area. I was running out of ideas for stuff to do, but I had ideas for some other areas as well, so I headed back to Sanctuary, the classic spot. There's always a bunch of fun stuff to do over there, and got to work on some other ideas as well. I don't know, maybe they give me more luck with the legendaries. Like, for example here, what about firing a bunch of items off the side of the ship into space? Yeah, bet you didn't expect to see that. If you guys didn't know, there's actually a glitch to get out of Sanctuary, or on top of Sanctuary, whatever you want to call it. I actually made a video on that. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link to it down below in the description. But surprisingly, this was actually more interesting than I thought it would. There's no like fog, or at least fog that you can see from up here, so when you fire the items, they just keep going down, and you can watch them go down for a very, very long time. Maybe like a minute or so, you still can see like the glow of the items, the glow of the green, blue, no legendary still, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, they just keep on going. They sort of blend in with the stars a little bit, and you end up not seeing them because you can't look down far enough to actually see them anymore. So I don't know, I thought that was kind of interesting. Also, the crew was doing a nice job. They were putting in hard work, so I decided to give them a little bit of a gift by firing a bunch of items right at them. So yeah, nice job. Keep up the good work. After that, also decided to give Ava a visit. My least favorite character in the game. These were less of a gift, admittedly, but oddly enough, I figured out that some of the NPCs, more so like the character NPCs, you can't actually bounce items off of them for whatever reason. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe it's because they walk around more, but then again, don't the other NPCs walk around too? So I don't know why they don't have hitboxes when it comes to items and things. Kind of weird. I don't exactly know. But again, all of this so far, still no legendaries. It's not looking too good for the legendaries, unfortunately, but I still have hope. We've still got about like, what, 400 eridium left, something around there. So you know what? Maybe we'll try our luck at the slots. So I headed on over to that location as well, and in complete irony, started wasting my eridium on weapons right in front of the slot that takes eridium for some reason. I don't exactly know. Oddly enough, though, I feel like you technically get better stuff by using this over the slot. I don't know, though. Maybe we'll have to test that out as well. At least with the eridium fabricator, you actually get stuff every single time, and not like grenades and things like that, which I always get out of these for some reason. The past times I've used them like a ton, that is all I've gotten pretty much. I haven't gotten really anything good. I did decide to try one slot machine. Since I started with over 2,000 eridium, I thought it'd be fair to just play one game, and as you can see, I got something amazing. Complete nothing. That is why I don't use these very much. So yeah, decided to move on to that. Found this random crew member sitting up here and decided to give him the gift of random items, random green, blues, and purples for his awesome sitting spot. Like, how actually did he get up there? I'm kind of curious now. But then I actually found something kind of interesting out of the loot. I haven't been able to find anything interesting until this item right here, which is basically like, it's a rocket launcher, but it's actually a flamethrower. So it takes like rocket ammo, but again, it's a flamethrower. It shoots flames. I didn't even really know that was a thing. I'm sure a bunch of you probably have that, but I've never gotten one of those to drop, so I found that kind of cool. Don't know if it's actually useful at all, but hey, why not? On top of that, then decided to go back to Moxie's and play my hand at the darts. I think I got a bullseye right there. That counts as a bullseye, right? I believe so. I don't care. I'm gonna count it. Close enough, right? At least it hit the board. Then I made my way all the way down to Claptrap's room. I mean, you gotta give Claptrap a little bit of items, right? Who doesn't like Claptrap? So yeah, I went to his room. He started talking about a bunch of random stuff that I did not pay attention to at all, so yeah. But I gave him a ton of items as well. You can see that the items fly through him as well. Again, not exactly sure why. Has something to do with the game design. Then after that, what else did I do? Oh yeah, I decided to go to Earl, the other place that you mainly use eridium for, and decided to unironically waste my eridium right in front of him. Is some funny form of, I don't even know. So yeah, I think that was how I used all the rest of my eridium, was just in front of Earl's shop. And as you can see, with the final amount of items on the ground, there's a lot of green there, a little bit of blue, a little bit of purple, and wait a second, what's that in the middle of there? Could it be? Is that a legendary? A legendary infinity? There's no way, right? Well, I mean, I did sort of drop it from my inventory a little bit earlier, but hey, it's a legendary, right? We got a legendary out of the gun. Okay, we didn't. It seems like it's impossible to get a legendary out of this item, so don't go ahead and waste your eridium on this thing, because there is really no point to it. You don't even get that many good items because, again, you get this like late game when you probably have some decent legendaries already, some decent loot. This is just going to be a waste of your eridium when you could instead waste it on some other stuff, like random skins you will never use, random room decorations you'll probably never use as well. Oddly enough, though, I figured out that the weapon skins, when you have the gun and look at the weapon skins, it shows you a very nice preview of absolutely nothing. You can't put weapon skins on this item either. I mean, come on. So yeah, guys, that was the end of my experiment. That was the final conclusion. But either way, I hope you found this video fun. I had a fun time testing it out, and if you did, be sure to subscribe for more videos like this, more myth-busting type videos and stuff. Got some fun things planned. You can also check out some of my previous videos here on the screen. But without further ado, guys, I will see you in the next one, alright? Alright.